This week on Ask an Expert, coronavirus. Welcome to Ask an Expert, a show where you submit questions to be answered by people around the school. I'm your host, Kieran Lanois. This week on Ask an Expert, our question is, what is the coronavirus and where did it come from? Here to answer our question is Ms. Chaufert, one of our health science teachers. Welcome, Ms. Chaufert. Can you help us answer this question?
Yeah, for sure. So with the coronavirus, it's a virus that originated in China. It is kind of jumping from sea to sea based on travel, and it's affecting populations mostly close to China and Korea, but there is some cases in Canada as well.
Now, this coronavirus is getting a lot of media attention, but let's get to the basics, and how does a virus work?
So once you come in contact with the virus, it will get into your immune system. So something like the coronavirus is affecting respiratory. So the virus will attack your cells by attaching to your cell and then penetrating the cell. And then it releases its own DNA or RNA into your cell. And then it takes over, your cells are tricked to make new viruses. And then eventually your cell will burst open and then a whole bunch of new viruses have been reproduced.
Can you tell us the difference between DNA and RNA?
DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA is just ribonucleic acid. One of them just has an extra oxygen in it. DNA is made as a double helix ladder with your DNA. RNA's purpose is to produce proteins.
Okay. So in the media, you can see so many people with this masks and suits. And this is usually in China, and in Canada, we're pretty safe. But if it does come here, what suggestions would you say for us to protect ourselves?
I think Canada has a couple of plans in place, but just if you are going to travel, probably getting a mask and wearing a mask. If you start a cough and you have been traveling, just make sure you kind of go in your own quarantine.
Yeah, wash your hands, obviously. Yeah. Try and just be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, for sure. Just like your average flu.
Now, especially in China, how they're so dense, do you think this makes viruses spread so much easier?
Yeah, for sure. And when it's a mutated virus and something new, we don't have the immunizations for them yet, even though they're still be working on one.
Now, the coronavirus has obviously originated from China, but do you know the specific reason why it started not reason why it started in China, but where it started in China?
Research tells me that it started in a food market, and it would have mutated over from animals.
Okay, so most likely either birds or cattle, and then it mutates into something that we can get.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that's coronavirus is getting so much news attention, but do you believe that people should worry about it, especially with the fact that the coronavirus only kills elderly and people with pre-existing medical problems?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's been about 80,000 cases, and 2% of those are, resulting in death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from the look of it, I don't think coronavirus is a huge thing to worry about. Obviously, this is from a Canadian's perspective, but I personally think that the coronavirus should die out soon. But how do you believe this pandemic will end?
I think that you'll still see numbers increase until it kind of slows down and, your last person gets quarantined or they come up with something to treat people.
And now with vaccines, we've talked a little bit more about the show, but do you think they'll find a vaccine anytime soon?
They could, but I think it's going to cost a lot of money, and you'll have to pay dearly for it if you want the vaccine.
Well, thank you for giving us your scientific know-how on the coronavirus and viruses in general.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's it for this week's Ask an Expert, but we're always looking for new questions. Tweet them at @PaCarlton with the hashtag AskAnExpert, and we'll find someone who can answer them for you. See you next week.